Good morning, wrestling fans. Welcome to the Pain Clinic for July 4th. That's right. It's July 4th. Happy July 4th. Happy 250th birthday to the United States. We are here. This is the Pain Clinic, and we are live, and it's kind of rainy out. So I don't know what kind of July 4th it's going to be like this year. But right now, it started off pretty rainy. So welcome to the show. I'm your, well, let me tell you the holidays day because you definitely can't live without these. But it's Independence Day. We know that already. We've got International Cherry Pit Spitting Day. Always a challenge there. National Country Music Day and Sidewalk Egg Frying Day. And that's usually because it's the hottest days are in July. Birthdays today. Barry Windham is 66. Happy birthday, Barry Windham. You might remember him as a wrestler in WCW as well as WWE and the uncle of Bo Dallas, Bray Wyatt. And if he was still here today, Sid Vicious would be 66 as well. He passed away 2 years ago, unfortunately. Interested in roller derby? Want to be a skater? Officiate Rock City Roller Derby needs you. Contact recruitment at rockderbyrecruitment@gmail.com and join Rock City Roller Derby. If you're into the men's team, Flower City Fear, FLOUR, flowercityfear.com. Check them out. Always, we're mid-season, but always looking for more skaters, more help. It's always a lot of fun. So check it out. I'm very involved in it. We got another game coming up for Rock City in a couple weeks. It'll be, I think, 3 weeks, 4 weeks. It's towards the end of July. It's our Pride bout, so check that out. Welcome I am the Cash Man, your humble host. I'm joined by Rob Sanderson from Parts Unknown Rochester. Rob, how are you doing today?
Oh, good morning. Good morning to you, to the listeners, and to myself, because my phone apparently died overnight. And then I woke up. It's been in quite a few days. So
Yeah.
um, I woke up and I'm just like, all right, my phone's off. I don't know what time it is, but still pretty tired, so it's got to be pretty early. Whatever. Plug it in as soon as I can, turn it back on. It says 10 o'clock on the dot. And I was just like, oh, well, look at the irony of waking up at exactly 10 is crazy. And Here I am. So yeah, literally just woke up.
now you're
Um,
you're not even in the country, right?
I am now.
Oh, okay.
Um, so, but yes, that contributes to a little altered sleep schedule and such right now. So
I get that. I get that. So, hey,
yeah.
well, welcome. Thank you for being here.
So
We know DC's in transit someplace, and Danger Boy.
happy belated Canada Day to everybody.
There we go. Yeah, July 1st. That was a couple of days ago.
Mhm.
Much better weather than it is today so far. So, but
Uh, I don't know. I mean, obviously, I haven't been outside yet today, here, but it was, as I'm sure it was here as well. But July 1st was, I mean, that's the hottest Canada Day that's ever been a Canada Day, and it was. I mean, there were a lot of things that were canceled and stuff because of the heat, and it was miserable. So, um, there's a point when it gets to just be too hot. So.
it's been that way the last couple of days here, really. I mean, I was out at our Irondequoit. I live in Irondequoit, New York. They have a July 4th fest, and then we were out at it yesterday. It was too hot. It was like so. It was like I made it maybe an hour, and it's like it's too hot to be outside. It was just it's starting to pick up humidity because they said rain was coming, and so it was like I've had my fill. I've got enough sunlight for a while, so I'm recharged. But yeah,
I
it's
just couldn't believe like people that were at all of the like similar situation with like Kier and stuff, but all the people, all the families that were out at all of the every town's local park in Canada on Wednesday. I was like, how like those are like 9+ hour festivals all day of things outside. It's like how I don't want to be outside for 9 minutes right now. Like it was, yeah. And I lived less than 2 hours from like the Mexican border. Like I can deal with heat, but this is just ugh,
yeah.
awful.
Well, you had that nice coast town there on Corpus Christi, it was,
That's the only reason I was able to survive that heat.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah,
Living a block from the water and being able to escape to it at any time or the rare day off was, yeah, there's no, if I lived in like, well, other, I mean, if I lived somewhere that far south with no water nearby, no chance.
yeah.
Absolutely no chance.
I get that. So, by the way, Mad Dog wishes us all happy July 4th, and he says, "What's the deal? Did you break out a rotary phone? You don't sound that bad, okay?"
Me,
Yeah,
a
yeah, you know what
rotary phone?
you know the
I
rotary
do
phone.
know what a rotary phone is.
Okay.
Uh, I definitely have. I've definitely never. I've never owned one, but I know I placed at least a couple calls with a rotary phone
You have to
in
be
my day.
patient. You have to be patient to have a rotary phone because you have to wait for the number to go all the way back, after you're dialing.
Kids
It's
these days just don't know.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they got it easy. So I want to talk about one thing before we get started talking about stuff. But we had two big pay-per-views last weekend. Actually, three, four, maybe four big pay-per-views.
A
Yeah, but
hundred.
there was a lot. There was there was one free show, which was the NXT show, and then everything else was a pay for to watch. And uh but it's interesting that both WWE and AEW this week start their shows up with immediately going backstage after the show to to follow a wrestler after what happened at the events of the pay-per-view, which I thought was very interesting because you don't see that a lot. And then you get both shows doing it in one week because obviously Sami Zayn winning the title with Night of Champions, and then we had Will Ospreay hanging out with his girlfriend, and then getting the I don't know is it the motorcycle patch or whatever from John Moxley, and I just thought it was interesting because it's like that's an aspect you don't really it's rarely used by either of these companies, and it was I thought that so that was something that struck me this past week is they that they actually went back to the pay-per-view to continue after uh, the the broadcast had stopped with some stuff. So, but yeah, I
I
wanted to yeah, go
my
ahead.
connection my connection froze up there for a second, but I think I got the gist of what you're saying, and it is interesting just because we're in an era of social media so much that like that kind of stuff normally just gets posted immediately online and isn't saved for like Wednesday at 8 o'clock or whatever. But um, you could tell they were doing something because Renee was late to the very, very late media scrum on Sunday night, and they said they were filming some stuff. So um, I like that I mean, it's a very, very slow build with what they've got going on with Osprey and Kenny and all this stuff. So I appreciate that they've been just hinting at it a little bit here and there and letting it kind of organically build. So
So let's talk about we'll flip the coin and go with Judgment or with Forbidden Door first. So Forbidden Door, uh, what's your thoughts on the pay per view in general? I mean, we had a lot of story movement, which is a good thing, and how we talked last week. How do we get to where they want to be for All In? And you could see a lot of that progress this past weekend, which is a good thing about pay per views. I mean, you definitely get a lot more story progression. But what'd you feel overall? I mean, it was a solid pay per view. Man, it was you had some incredible matches. The pre show matches weren't too bad either. To be honest with you, there's some good stuff there. But how do you feel about the pay per view in general? I mean, we've got both Owen Hart Cup winners. I don't think either of those were a surprise. But well, how do you feel about the pay per view?
no, I mean we gave basically the spoilers with the predictions for the pay-per-view. It was very predictable, but sometimes that's okay. I thought it was a really good show. As usual. I agree. I really did like the pre-show a lot. And I don't know. I mean, it is one of those like this was a Sunday night, not really a holiday weekend kind of pay-per-view that just went AEW long. But overall, I mean, I really enjoyed, I think, most all of it, at least. I'm trying to think if there's anything that like, I mean, yeah, everything was good enough. I mean, there's some matches I don't need to like go back and watch. Like, I mean, like Edge and Christian and the Dogs was good. Um, but starting out with that three-way tag, I really enjoyed that. Omega and Sabre Jr. coming, like, I watching the pay-per-view, I was just like, okay, I really was looking forward to the tag match. And then like match two pops up on the screen and it's Omega and Sabre Jr. It's like the
Wow.
my personal main event to watch is second. We have seven more matches after it. Like,
Yeah.
um, but loved that and didn't need Moxley and Bandito. It was good, but I don't know. Like it was as we knew going into it, it wasn't a very forbidden night. And you hear more and more about how much more it would have been if there weren't visa issues all over the place. Um, but yeah, I don't. Tekla and Starlight Kid was really good.
Yeah.
The Owen matches were solid. I'm very impressed with Maya World with what she put together in that loss. I mean, that was a 25-minute match with Mercedes, and she hung in there the whole time, and it was really good. And Osprey and Swerve is just, I think even Swerve put out like a respect kind of tweet that was just like, I don't know, alluding to basically how like they bring each other to like a next level. That was a great main event.
Yeah,
So
you had four matches on the pay-per-view that were 25 minutes or more. And you
yeah,
had and you had two matches that were the last two were over 30 minutes each. So it was it was putting to shame the 40 minutes of WrestleMania night 2 or whatever it was, WrestleMania night 1. It was even the one inconsequential like most of them were like 18, 19, 20 minutes almost. So it was a solid night of wrestling, and it was we got a big direction. Everyone got in the right lane for where they're going to All In and everything, which is great. And then they follow up with Dynamite this past week, which was Dynamite, to say the least. Because we're going to get, I think we're going to get a title change next week on Dynamite.
yes,
Yeah, yeah. I just,
it is a surprise. I mean, like we've talked about this storyline quite a bit, like prediction wise, and we're on kind of that same track right now. But I am definitely one person that is surprised that we're doing this before Redemption. But it gives a chance for Kenny to be champion for a little bit longer in what's going to be a very short reign. And instead of winning the title in Montreal, he can get a title defense in Montreal.
yeah, that's what
So
I figured. That's why I figure he's going to win this week, because then he'll defend it in the next pay-per-view against MJF, and then and then I assume off to All In. But yeah, but they've like everything started to fast forward, and now with Osprey now accepting his as Mad Dog puts it, aces and eights, uh, 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 what a pin or whatever or patch, which I know he's being silly there, but I know it kind of reminds me of that a little bit.
I mean, I can see the similarities.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I don't, I mean that like obviously I have faith that they have a plan with all of that. I just don't want it to overshadow like I don't really think the Death Riders need to be involved whatsoever in that moment where Osprey wins the title, but
Yeah,
I
I
don't know.
agree with
We'll
you.
see. We'll see how that plays
It
out.
was an interesting week for Osprey because one, we got him and his wife to start the show with the backstage stuff after the match or after the pay-per-view. And then he got a little double entendre there with MJF, talking about hurting his neck because well, I won't continue on, but you heard it. You guys all know what I'm talking about. So that was, Osprey's personality has been coming out quite a bit in the last few weeks. Even making fun. I just went back and watched last week's, or actually, if you watch Botchamania this week, you get to see a lot of stuff from last week, which was some fantastic stuff with Osprey doing his tripping while he was outside in the middle of his match this past week, which was
Mhm.
I thought was pretty fun. We talked about it last week, I think briefly, but and also him tripping in the beginning of the show and everything. But he is becoming, he is like rounding out as a personality and an incredible wrestler. So I think we're getting, I think that we're building up for a huge day for him at All In. But
Well, that's the only thing I guess I wonder now is where there could very well be a reason to still have, like Moxley involved and MJF still a part of the picture and stuff that I guess the only thing that's changed for me in terms of kind of predicting the future of the next couple of months this week is that I guess I feel like there's a possibility that this is going to turn into more than just a singles match at All In, which would be a way to bring these different storylines together and also not necessarily need Omega to be a heel. Because it would not make sense for Omega to go in as a heel champion of Montreal. And so if you do a 3 or 4 way at All In, I mean, that's a way you're squeezing more people in. And I guess that's, you get the dynamic of like, are Osprey and Moxley going to work together? Is everybody going to team up on MJF if he's in the match as well? Who would Osprey potentially pin? I don't know if it would like water down the match at all or the eventual result, but I feel like that's becoming more of a possibility as well, especially now that we're in this like there's even more people that I didn't mention that are like, I want a title shot. The
yeah,
Andrades and everybody else. So
no, yeah, and Andrade, big turn, I guess, big. I wouldn't call it a turn, but I mean, the way they ended that cage
how
match.
you know?
How Yeah, I don't know. It wasn't, but I'd say one thing. People are behind him. They love his catchphrase, and it's good time he break free. If he gets an opportunity, that's great. But you know what? I see this I kind of see this Osprey and the Death Riders combination as maybe his first defense, maybe after winning because of something that'll happen. I mean, it's because of the closeness of how he's been with these guys that it would make a great feud when it all falls apart. I mean, that's kind of everything in wrestling does eventually. Everything. Everybody's best friends turn on them. Everybody. So
Mm.
so it will happen eventually, but it might happen as he wins the title because he doesn't want the help or something, and then maybe they have a miscommunication or whatever. I could see maybe this being the first defense. After All In, but that's just my guess right now. But it
Well, and we're also in there, like, I mean, as much as I mentioned like heels and faces in this, like, we are, this is probably the best proof ever of like, not everybody needs to be a clear cut heel or face. I mean, there's been a lot of face actions and tendencies and reactions and stuff for the Death Riders as of late, but then, like this week they were teaming with the Dogs, who are clearly not baby faces. So, it kind of, I don't know, it makes that dynamic of a 3+ person match at All In work when not everybody is clearly a face or a heel or whatever. It's just kind of like this is just who they are, and can this person trust this person, and are they going to work together in the match, and are they going to turn on it? Like it brings even more possibilities. So I don't always love uh a big match at one of the biggest shows like turning into more than a singles match. But I feel like it's warranted in this situation as long as Osprey can still get to shine just as much. So
yeah, I definitely, I could see it. Well, it's going to be a twisting, turning tale as we get closer and closer to when that happens. So I'm excited. It's definitely can't miss wrestling TV if you I think that this has been booked really good, and it's like, and this is probably one of the best storylines going on right now in any of the companies. So you wanted to throw that out there, and it's like, they also, the best thing about I think AEW is, one, you get a lot more wrestling, but two, you also get prime matchups on TV every week, that have something to do with these storylines continuing. So they've been just everything's been hitting on all cylinders, and it's like I'm happy for them, and it's like you know it's interesting because there's so many. I just saw, I don't know if you saw this or not, but there's a recent interview with Jeff Jarrett that's go out there right now that came out yesterday. I think it was yesterday or the day before, where he's
with
talking
Chris
about,
Van Vliet.
yeah, where he's talking about the history of TNA, and it's like we kind
Yeah.
of lived a lot of that with when they were going through a lot of that stuff, So it was like it's interesting to see a company like TNA who's been struggling on low budget wise for years and years and years, and man, and AEW is just how much they've grown in the 6 years they've been doing this or whatever, a short time, and the opportunities and what money really does help a lot with when it comes to like creating a company, because that's the thing where TNA struggled. There's just not, just have, penny pinching people running the company because they didn't want to spend money. So, Murph pointed that out. He said, hey, pointed out that interview, and there's a particular point where when we were all at the same show, what they were talking about, which it was in Oshawa, up in Toronto, north of Toronto there, and I thought that was kind of cool. Yeah, it's kind of neat because they're going through this big change now too, and it's like there's so many rumors this past week about TNA being sold, and what's going to happen and everything, and it's. But we'll get to that later because I want to quickly get to the other big news of last weekend, which was Sami Zayn winning the title. And I kind of had a sneaky suspicion when I was watching SmackDown a week ago, and both of the guys cut promos on Sami saying that you've never been where we are, kind of, you never been champ and everything. So I just felt like it was bound to happen. And it did. And it was, and it's the funny thing is that Sami is like, he's playing the ultimate tweener right now because he doesn't want people to cheer him. I mean, he came out and said, he goes, thank you for all the guys have been riding the train the whole time. And then there's the other guys who are booing, I don't care. And he would always kind of work that into his promo last night on SmackDown. But I think it's great that Sami, why didn't this happen, against Roman Reigns 3 years ago in Montreal or some other opportunities? But I think this is the best time for it to happen. Because I mean, unfortunately, though, they're going to be in Chicago next week, which means the return of somebody else who may have a say in what's going, in that as well. But what do you think about Sami Zayn finally, after, what his career has been over 20 years, without a doubt, he was like the head trainer for Ring of Honor for a while. Or was it Ring of Honor?
No, not.
He worked Ring of Honor. I know that El
Yeah.
Generico. Yeah, but he was,
Oh yeah.
yeah, sorry, he
Well,
wasn't.
his close personal friend El Generico did. Yeah.
Pardon me.
It
Hey, Dr. Love. I mean, no.
yeah. It was great to see that was the case. I didn't see any of the build up or anything. But when I heard what had happened, I went back and watched the extended clip of the end of the match, and felt really happy. For him, he's one of the guys in that group of people who worked really hard for a really long time on the indies and did a lot of work, on a lot of shows I was at or working, back in the day. He's somebody that was on Ring of Honor, had classics in ROH. He did Ballpark Brawl. He did quite a run. Him and Steen in 2CW as well, and all that stuff was so long ago, that finally to get it, I think I kind of maybe got to the point after he did not get the title in Montreal at that Elimination Chamber that maybe it just wasn't going to happen, even though I think we're in an era where it's more likely to become a world champion than maybe it was in like the 90s. like the pre-attitude era 90s and before, where there were longer title reigns and just not as many people considered to hold the belt and stuff. So was really happy. I mean, obviously he got a huge reaction, so uh that helps a little bit with the why didn't it happen in Montreal thing. I still think Montreal would have been cooler. But it obviously was a gigantic pop for him. And yeah, I don't know. I don't know how long it's gonna last or anything like that. I assume it's a very quick title reign, but
Yeah, there's
I
rumors.
think like he even said, like you can't ever take that away from him now. Like he's a guy that became WWE champion, which is I don't think I would have, especially back in the day when he was one of those guys dominating the indies, and WWE at that time didn't really care about the indies and the stars on it. Like I would have never predicted that this guy in this generic luchador mask
Yeah,
was eventually going to become WWE champion.
yeah,
So
undisputed WWE champion, which is even
yeah,
better than the champion on Raw. So it's yeah. The thing is, do you think this would have happened if Vince McMahon was still in charge?
no,
Yeah, me
no.
neither. I think that it's like he had his biases against guys he didn't feel like looked like $1 million, and it's like and
Mhm.
not that Sammy doesn't. Sammy can do everything in the ring, but he is not, he is not muscle bound, crazy tweaked physique or anything. And neither, Cody Rhodes is a bit up more and Gunther's gotten better over the years. But and the scary thing is now now the case is that Cody Rhodes had to beat Jey Uso last night on SmackDown for an opportunity to wrestle Sami Zayn at Monday Night Raw for the title, and it's in Chicago. So it's like I hope it's not that shorter run, but I'm scared that it could be because the rumor for the longest time was we're going to have a Cody Rhodes CM Punk matchup for the title, and Punk has been gone since WrestleMania. But like I said, they're in Chicago on Monday, so you know, not to say that it's going to definitely happen, but if he's going to show up and be involved, that's where it's going to start. And who knows? I mean, I don't want to see a title change this quick either for Sami Zayn. I loved it that he got to come out and cut a promo. Like I said, they followed him at the end of. I don't know if you saw any of the video that was posted by friends, but when Kevin Owens and Becky Lynch met him backstage with the T-shirt and honoring him, he as he says that what does he say on his shirt? True I can't remember, but it's now wrestling champion with what his motto was on his shirt before, and they gave it to him and celebrated with him after the match. So, Hal Owens wasn't even on the show, so I don't know when that happened. If it happened in Saudi Arabia, then he went all the way there just to, which I mean, I guess I understand. I know some people have traveled before to honor to someone who was getting their title the first time, but
I didn't see all of this, but I'm pretty sure I saw something from Kevin that was just like acknowledging like that he absolutely hated that he was not there for that
oh, okay.
moment.
Okay,
So,
so it must have been when he
yeah,
came back then. It must have been because it was a backstage thing with him and Becky Lynch. And that they yeah, which is a shame, but I'm getting the feeling now that Kevin Owens is part of the LFG show that he may never be coming back after the surgery. Just because it was neck surgery and everything, but which would
wait,
be
is he doing that show with Bubba, or is Bubba not on it anymore?
oh, Bubba's on it still. I haven't really watched it, but I know he's been one of the coaches. Uh, you know, uh,
Um,
maybe they got rid of the Undertaker. I don't know. Somebody's not on the show anymore.
I'm just thinking of the dynamic
Him and Bubba.
of Kevin and Bubba, who another former 2CW battle, and I just can't picture them working together as coaches or being on a TV show. I can't picture them doing that together. So it's almost intriguing.
I don't think anybody likes Bubba Ray Dudley. Okay, I'm beginning to believe with all the people coming out of the woodwork
Mhm.
recently that I don't think anybody likes him. He just he
Let me think for no. Let me think for a year, and I probably still won't come up with somebody.
Yeah,
Well, then, I no, I don't like him either. Yeah, I don't. I got
I see.
nothing.
I see that Spike is gonna be doing one of the 2CW shows. I saw that
Go
announcement.
back at the pastime
Yeah,
in November. Very much looking forward to that. Yeah, um, it's good that I mean we haven't seen Spike in 2CW since that original final show in 2015. I mean, obviously, it's only been a few reunion shows since then, but very happy that that's come together and doing some other stuff for him as well, as he's I in a very very limited sense gonna do a little bit more on the like appearance side with like conventions and stuff. So
sure. Well,
um,
he was when 2CW first started running in this area a long time ago.
yeah.
We would, I mean, I don't know, but this is back when we were in Midtown Plaza still, okay? And I remember him coming on a couple times to promote shows at the German House. And then I remember going down to the German House and hanging out with him a couple times too. So, very good guy. I mean, I remember he was like,
Oh
but
yeah.
yeah, he was, he
And that's
was,
the thing. I mean, it's bizarre to me still. Like there's a quote out there somewhere where he's doing an interview and he starts talking about 2CW and like I don't remember the exact wording, but it was something about like it being like bigger to him than ECW. And I was like, wait, what? Like, hold on. No, you don't like, but like the fact that he said that, even though like I on his behalf don't believe that, like, or don't agree with that, but love to hear it. And like he shared the post on his Facebook this week about, being really like very excited to be coming back for the 2CW show at the pastime and stuff. And I just he is a lot of, I mean, people that didn't follow that company for all those years ago, wouldn't assume or know, but like, I mean, he was literally like Mr. 2CW. He was on countless shows. He was the locker room leader. I mean, he was the foundation of that company. And so can't wait to see him in November.
yeah. I just saw that Bill Alfonso must have been around Rochester recently because I saw a picture of him having a plate up at what's a plate place on Lyle Avenue there?
Stevie T's.
CBT's. I saw it was like, what's Bill Alfonso doing in Rochester? I know that there was a convention, Nickel City Comic Convention in Buffalo last weekend, and maybe he was there for that. But he stopped by Stevie T's to get a plate. So it was like, wow. Remember, Bill Alfonso was another guy in those 2CW shows too. He would be here a bunch, and he was just a great guy. You
Yeah.
know, I'm a big fan of his because of just of his history as well. He's been around a long time, a lot longer than people think. They always think ECW. It's like, no, he was around before then. So
The rep in WWF before that. Yeah. Yeah, no, Fonzie's somebody also who like has worked so many indie shows since his TV run, and I've never heard anybody really had a bad experience with him. He's always in a good mood. He's always great to have in the locker room and stuff. So, I've had plenty of very good interactions with him in different capacities and stuff. So, and he's got a pretty decent taste in garbage plates, I guess, too. So,
yeah, there you
so
go.
that's good. Yeah.
I know it's just so funny that they posted a picture at Stevie T's. Actually, is the one who posted the picture that he was there. So it was
I haven't had one of those plates in a long time.
me neither. And
I mean,
they're
there was
just
2 years
good
there
as
where I lived like right down the road from there, and that was the go-to spot. But it's been a while.
and
It's okay.
they're just as good as any of the plates in Rochester. I
Yeah.
mean, guy used to work for the original plate. So I
Well,
don't
the
want to.
tea. I mean, the tea is the same tea. So
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. They're so that, but it's still there too. So which is even better. It's the one that actually stays open late at night too, not like the one downtown. So
Yeah.
I do want to mention one thing. This past the Night of Champions, there was 4 matches on the show, 2 on the pre-show, and the gist we're getting is actually ESPN asked them to put another match on the show because they felt it wasn't worth fans to pay for their app if there was only going to be 3 matches that were offered, only on the app after two were being on ESPN. I thought that was very interesting because it just shows you how much influence ESPN has over what WWE is doing. Remember, they were doing those 5 match pay-per-views for the last few. And it's like, and the first 2 matches were freebies on ESPN. So that was leaving you with 3 matches left. And they go an hour and a half maybe after that. So ESPN had, asked for them to put more matches on. So it's worth people's, 19, whatever it is a month for the app, which I found very interesting because
I think it's like 30.
oh yeah, it's a lot more than 19. I know. You can you can get it through other apps, if you get like the bundles and things like that. But I just find it, this is so different from Vince McMahon era because I'm sure, I mean, I don't know if he would have said no, but I mean, he would have fought it, that's for sure. But but they're also, paying billions of dollars to have this on their system too. So and that's another thing too. Is nothing but complaints about the ads on every match. There's ads after it. It's like, well, what are we paying for? It's like you're double dipping. You're not only you charging us to view this, but you're also running ads between them, which has been my beef with them since they've gone to this app. It's like, I mean, it was the same ad set series of ads between every match. So it was like, it's silly. And I just see nothing but complaints online. And listen, I know internet wrestling fans complain about everything, but they have a right, I mean, it's like, when we were on Peacock, well, yes, Peacock did run ads too, but not like they do now. It's what sometimes they would actually run like promo stuff in between to build up the matches. But this past one with the 4 matches on the app with all the ads, it was just silly. And it's like, they're going to lose people hand over fist very quickly because they're getting sick of, of having to live by WWE and ESPN rules. And it's like, I find, but I will say one thing too. I am not a fan of Trick Williams anymore. It's just irritating, because he does the same thing every time he's out there, and it's like, it's like his chants are like, it's like, do I feel like I'm cheering for a pimp because of, of the chants? It's like, it's just bizarre. I don't know. I'm not a fan anymore. I'll root against him and Little Yachty, especially when it's against Ricky Saints. It was, I think they lost me. I think they're great because, but it's like, I'm not saying it's family, it's a family type program or anything, but it's just, I mean, I like the dude. I just don't like the gimmick. Is that possible to do that, Rob? To like a dude as a wrestler, but not dig the gimmick they're given.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I don't know what the best example would be, but I'm sure there's so much of that over the years, mainly during the Vince McMahon booking years.
Fake Diesel.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I haven't seen any of the Trick or you said Little Yachty and stuff. I haven't seen any of that, so I can't really comment on that. But it's not a huge surprise. And I mean, just in terms of the advertising and stuff, like I'm just gonna blame NASCAR because we're at a point and European football, soccer, and stuff. I mean, everything is getting ad crazy, getting ads during ads. I mean, it's just it's out of control, and I'm continually nervous about how much more it's peeking into hockey and football and stuff as well. Little things with the technology increases have certainly brought about the ability for a lot more advertising in all capacities. And what you kind of alluded to there, that's the most underrated and yet common gripe a lot of us have with all of this is the repeating ads on these streaming platforms is out of control. I can say, like, luckily the last few Blue Jays games, like I was watching, like in Canada, it was fine, whatever. But like the games before that trip, there was a streak where I don't know if it was MLB TV or somebody like signed a deal with Bush's Baked Beans, and the first commercial, every single break was rolling that beautiful bean footage, and I was losing my mind. Like I can't stand the same ad over and over and over again. Like that's not something that we experience with the days of traditional cable TV and stuff. And these streaming platforms are just, I'm just pounding like the same ad over and over again, whatever it is, regardless. I mean, it's agonizing. And the fact that they somebody needs to step in with the FCC or something. I don't know. The boosting of the
Volume. Yeah.
volume
Oh yeah.
is crazy,
It's like a three. It's like a
especially
three. Yeah.
Peacock.
It's like a three
But
dB jump right as soon as it starts.
it, sometimes it feels like 10.
Yeah.
It's nuts. Like you literally can't, like you have to adjust your volume every time it goes to break. But of course, a lot of times like it'll just go to break and you don't have a second to adjust the volume. I shouldn't have to play with the volume just because it's in a commercial break. But now all of a sudden they're screaming at me about something like it's it should be illegal.
Yeah.
That specifically, like it's not the biggest problem by any means in this country or this world right now, but like, can we please regulate the commercial volume on streaming apps? Please.
I mean, do you have make it automatically go to mute as soon as it goes away from programming or something? You know, I mean, that's you got to keep your finger on the button or something. But I get you. I know exactly. But it's funny is I used to work for a company that did like a radio network, and that was the instructions on the commercial production was to make it louder than everything else. So
Right.
I definitely know that was it. And then we're talking like 25 years ago. So that was that's without a doubt that's the philosophy, and they do it electronically. They jack that up immediately. So yeah, I get that. And by the way, it's whoop that trick. That doesn't that sound like you're promoting someone to beat someone up? I don't know. That was the chant that's like it's just irritating. So I know there's a lot of
Well, it's
little kids out
wrestling,
there.
but like also like I don't know if that like maybe it doesn't mean that because what would it be? Well, all right.
His name is Trick, so you're
Whoop
telling
that
people to whoop him.
comma trick.
Yeah.
Like I guess if there's a comma in there, then fine. Because it wouldn't make sense for the it to be comma less and then he's whooping himself.
Yeah,
Uh
that's
yeah.
and they get little kids doing it. They got kids on camera saying along with it, and it's like, okay, okay, it's like they probably don't even know. I mean, to me, it sounds like he's dressed like a pimp and he's saying "whoop that trick." What it comes to mind, I don't know.
Mm.
So I get tired of that. So, but he's super over, and he's a great athlete, and it's like I love him now because he's going back to a rivalry with Carmelo, and Carmelo from obviously him and NXT had this great group. He was like the Diesel to Carmelo in NXT, and then they kind of split apart when Carmelo got called up. So it's like, and then he got called up, and so they're kind of continuing their little feud, which I really enjoyed. But it's like, yeah, it's I don't know. It's maybe I'm just being an old gray-haired man. Get off my lawn, you kids, or something like that. I don't know. But I did want to throw that out because that was part of the 6 matches from Night of Champions. And I'm really, you know what? I'm so happy that Ricky Saints or Starks or whatever you want to call him is getting over enough that he's getting pay-per-view matches for titles and stuff. So that's a big plus. And he's a really good wrestler. So it was I'm enjoying his run so far as well. But yeah, that's both those pay-per-views from last weekend. Let's see what else. When we were doing Forbidden Door, we kind of thought that we were going to get an Adam Page return, and did that disappoint you that he did not show up?
No, but I think that I mean there's still a possibility of that as early as this coming Wednesday. And that is another name that could factor into all of this. I mean, there's so many people in that main event picture right now that um, there's a lot of different ways to potentially incorporate him. I can't picture All In happening at the end of next month without Adam Page. So
Oh yeah, I agree. Yeah. I mean, he's one of the big stars of AEW, So I disappointed he didn't show up, but it's like I mean, he keeps his life private, so who knows? Maybe he had another baby, or who knows? I mean, but he's had time
Well,
off.
it's a decent time to bring him back too, because this will be like is it the first time that somebody has the stipulation of never
Yeah.
being able to challenge again and actually winning? Um, I mean, obviously Cody lost and Hangman lost.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
So
he definitely seems like he'll be a part in that because he'll make sure that Hangman that's interesting. I didn't think about that. Yeah, he definitely would come and play a part in that. It seemed only logical if I hate that stipulation. I know you dislike it as well, especially when so
oh
far
yeah.
we're 0 for 2 and anyone getting past it. Uh,
No,
I
and
think
I mean like it makes things potentially more predictable, but yeah, I don't like that stipulation at all. But um we get a different result this coming Wednesday. Assume, I mean, I would be absolutely shocked if Kenny lost on Wednesday.
yeah,
Um, and I mean, I don't know. I guess I'm already kind of bummed a little bit that I feel like it's going to be a short title reign, and more so B, that this probably is his last world title reign. The way that everything's been talked about for years, and coming back from all the health stuff and whatever, that hopefully, at least, like, I mean, that could be the intention of giving him the title this week as opposed to waiting till the pay-per-view, is that it gives him a couple extra weeks as champion. I don't foresee them giving him like the Darby defense schedule or anything like that. But hopefully it can still be a meaningful enough reign in that short period of time, even though it very much feels like a transitional thing. Um, so I if with all of these people involved, like if that stipulation was not a thing, then you could easily say, no, he's not going to win, and maybe he'll get his, title shot further down the road. But with that stipulation in place, he's winning on Wednesday. So
yeah, which is good. And like you said, it gives him an opportunity to defend it once on pay-per-view before All In, and it just seems logical. I mean, we might be reading too much into it, but their booking has been fantastic lately. So who knows? Maybe they'll surprise us. But yeah, we don't see him losing. That's the whole thing,
well,
you
and the other
know.
thing that's kind of interesting too is just thinking about like this current little stretch between more than just AEW. Like you're kind of it kind of feels like we're maybe even unintentionally in this, I don't know, this little era of boosting the total amount of title reigns of people. Like Cody just lost that belt again, and like it's probably going to get it back, and then that'll increase him to what, a four-time champion or something. I don't even know at this point. MJF is already at three, but this will be a kind of quick-ish run for him, to kind of just boost those. I mean, no, these guys aren't getting to like Ric Flair numbers, but it's different than a few years ago where nobody had
Yeah,
multiple title reigns because they were going on for years and years. So
yeah. Well, and AEW is such a new company. When you see how old it is and how many reigns people have had. Right now is three the man. I mean, Page was twice, right? Swerve was one.
Moxley is four, I think, is the way he's
Okay.
credited, which because it gets a little tricky. Like that's what I hate with that is like how do you count the interim? And I don't think they count the interim separately when you become not interim after
Yeah.
that. But yeah, it's a little tricky. But yeah, we're at the point now. I mean, 7 years in AEW that for a while there were limited champions and they were all decent length reigns, that it was very easy to, like, off the top of my head, like go through the title history. And now we're at the point where like I gotta think for a second to try to like go through the entire history off memory. Um, we're at we're at a lot more champions and a lot more reigns now than those first few years where they were spread out quite a bit.
Oh yeah. I mean, Jericho was the first champ. Remember?
Oh yeah.
That's pretty wild. So, and he hasn't been in that era. He hasn't been in like that booking idea of a while. I mean, he was the Ring of Honor champ for a while too, but yeah. So yeah, this is well, that's what we see a maturing company. So yeah, we're going to start having guys like MJF with 3, and I'm sure it'll be more than that by the time he's
I
done.
think I think I'll try that at some point today, is going through that title history off the top of my head without looking it up, but see
The
if I can do it
lineage.
at this point.
Kenny Omega had a great run, probably one of the best runs as a champ there. I think, when he was the belt collector. So,
Yeah.
seems like it was forever ago, though. So I'm going to get to some news and we'll get out of here because it's July 4th. It's 250 years of this country. I remember when it was 200 years, it's 1976.
I
Yeah,
I don't, but
yeah, I was 10, okay? Or I was 10, almost 10, I think. Yeah, I remember it because it was such a big deal. They had those giant ships that were shooting water spouts out by Manhattan, and it was, I don't know. It was a lot different. We're 250. I don't know. I'm not going to make it to 300. So, unless somehow they can, preserve brains or something. But
well,
I
I
would
hate
have
to
to.
make such a negative comment on a day like today, but is this country going to make it to 300? I don't know.
It's got to. But yeah, I'd be 110. So let me go through and tell you what's coming up this week on all the shows. We'll start off with Dynamite on Wednesday. You're gonna get MJF versus Kenny Omega for the AEW World Championship. If Omega loses, he will not be able to challenge for the title again. We got Takeshita versus Kyle Fletcher for the AEW International Championship. We've got Chris Jericho and Ciampa, and we have a women's casino gauntlet match for a shot at the AEW Women's Championship at Redemption pay-per-view. It'll be live from Clearwater, Florida, at the Bay Care Sound. I believe this is an outdoor arena. Did I see something about that? That they're
I
going to be doing.
don't know. I didn't think so, but I don't know.
I thought I heard something about that. So, if you're going to watch Collision, not tonight because we already saw Collision on Thursday night, 2.5 hours of it. But on next week, a week from today, you're going to get Bandito versus Shibata for the Ring of Honor World Championship, and that's going to be live also from Roanoke, Virginia, at the Berglund Center. So, WWE Monday Night Raw, Sami Zayn versus Cody Rhodes for the WWE Championship. You're going to get the Street Profits versus Braun Breaker and Austin Theory for the World Tag Team titles. And I believe the Street Profits are the champs right now. So this is a rematch. And because Cody Rhodes beat Jey Uso on SmackDown, that's why he's getting the shot. This is in Chicago, Illinois at the Allstate Arena. That means who's coming back. The following main event is for SmackDown, which is this Friday. You're going to get Trick Williams versus Carmelo Hayes in a non-title match. Finn Balor versus Tama Tonga. And that's going to be live in Oklahoma City at the Paycom Center. So that's all the wrestling that's going to be on in the next week.
And yes, the Bay Care Sound in Clearwater is an amphitheater basically on the water there, it's got a covering, but it is outdoors, so that's cool. That'll be a good look.
Yeah. So it's good. It's hopefully there's
An
no
actual beach break on a beach and not like indoors in Cleveland, Ohio or
There
something.
you go.
This is fun.
We'll send the cameras out to the Lake Erie. No.
Hopefully Tony Khan will next go ahead and buy Club La Vila so he can run there. But as it just sits there abandoned.
So something we talked about a lot last week was if Mike Santana loses at TNA Slammiversary next weekend, is he done with the company? And apparently he lost, and looks like his time has come to an end. His contract is set to expire in the coming days, and TNA sources have confirmed that he's finished up with the promotion. He wasn't at Albany. They were at Albany 2 days this past week, not recording, I think 3 shows and 1 live one. Thursday night was live there. So he was not present at TNA Impact television tapings that started on Wednesday. I was watching both of those on Thursday night because it's like I was curious if he was going to show up at all, and he did not. So it looks like Mike Santana probably is WWE bound, I'm assuming. It's been a lot of talk about that. Some, that's kind of what we suspected when if he didn't win, then he was probably done with the company. And a lot of people have been done with that company recently, so it doesn't surprise me, which is sad because they've lost so many solid talents. And I know I just saw something this morning, excuse me, that Kari Sane is probably going to get signed by AEW because Tony Khan's a big fan. And remember, Kari Sane was one who got cut by WWE out of the blue. Who knows who else is going to show up? All these free agents now from both companies. So, but kudos to Mike Santana. He got that championship. Unfortunately, it must have been a 1-year contract, maybe 2-year contract, but he really wasn't. It wasn't like a long run as champ or anything. So, but I was a big fan when he was in AEW. That's for sure. I thought he was definitely a solid wrestler. So. We'll see where he shows up. Maybe it's AEW, but most likely it'll be WWE. They've been courting him, I guess, for a while. Some other news: Darby Allin tied the knot just days before stepping aside one of the biggest matches of his AEW career at Forbidden Door. He married his girlfriend Sarah, or his wife now Sarah, and I don't know if you saw any of the pictures from Darby's wedding, but and everybody was there. Brody King, Swerve Strickland, Bam Margera. It's somebody right? Oh, were you there?
No, I mean, I've met Bam, but I don't know him. But he did grow up in Westchester, PA, which is where a college roommate of mine lives. So I know people that know him quite well. And I've heard all sorts of stories. So
some good, some bad. Hopefully, he's had some struggles recently. So, but he was there. I mean, he must obviously. I see that MJF's wife was there, but MJF is not mentioned. I'm guessing probably MJF was there as well. But congratulations, Darby Allin, married now. He's done pretty much everything. He was a champ, climbed the Himalayas. He got married.
Remember that time that Hulk Hogan tweeted that he was sad that Bam Margera had passed away?
Yeah, yeah.
That was a weird time. Yeah.
Oh man. Let's see. So TNA issued the following press release this past week to announce the contractual release of Eric Young. They came to an agreement on release of Eric Young this past week. EY, of course, he's been at TNA. He's like, when I think of TNA, I think of AJ Styles first, but then I think EY because Eric Young did everything from dressing in a freaking turkey costume multiple times to being, married to what was her name? Oh man, remember he got married to Bam. What's that girl's name?
ODB.
ODB. Yeah, he married ODB on TV. They were married on quote unquote TNA. And he was involved in so many. He was a comedic wrestler for many years there, and then now he's just been this violent wrestler the last like 5 years there. And he was released. Apparently, he is going to be a player coach in NXT. It's interesting because he's been back and forth between the two quite a few times, but he will be going back. And I mean, that makes sense. I mean, he's got friends there. He was like friends with Triple H. Triple H understood Eric Young.
I mean, there was only one reason why he left there in the first place. And now that Vince is not there anymore. Yeah, I mean, good for him to do that. I mean, I've only seen probably 2/3 so far of that Jarrett interview that was mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
But I'm really enjoying it so far. And at one point, he does get the Mount Rushmore of TNA question, and I think EY is somebody who he's not going to make that Mount Rushmore, but if it was an extended Mount Rushmore, he'd have to be in the conversation. I mean, it's really tough to narrow that down to 4.
Yeah.
But he's somebody that put in a lot of years there. So
yeah, he did, and he's done so much. He started off with Team Canada,
mm-hmm.
And then he eventually he never really got a singles push until way later in his time there, and actually won the title. I think a couple times he won the title. So, and he's been, he's floated in and out with them as well. And I remember his mom came all the way to Rochester to watch him wrestle for UPW at the Minette Hall at the Dome. And he was just a great guy. He was friendly. He came up and talked to everybody. His mom was there. It
Yeah.
was it was it's just he was just a good dude. I always felt he was, and unfortunately he's a Nashville Predators fan, so we can hold that against him. But
Well, I mean, but I will say, I mean, when you think about everybody involved in professional wrestling, uh, I would put him in. I don't know who else would be in it, but I'd put him at least in the top three of most knowledgeable hockey fans in all of wrestling. So EY's always good in my book.
yeah, I actually have ways to contact him still. I just have never have done it. But I mean, we DM'd each other a long time ago when he came on once, and since then, he's definitely been a very good dude, and
He's a pretty decent fantasy hockey commissioner as well.
is he? I know I remember he got married. I don't know if he's still married, but I remember when he got married. I mean, in real life, not ODB, but he and I remember he was living with JB there for a while in Nashville too, and JB in that condo he had where I can never forget him New Year's morning walking through the carnage in his condo with people sleeping on every couch and chair available, and he goes, if you knew what the wrestlers were sleeping in my place right now. I don't know if you remember that. That was a long time ago, but I remember JB used to. He had that great condo where you could see the whole football stadium right out the balcony. So, and because JB is working with WWE, it makes sense that EY is coming back there as well. Because, so kudos to Eric Young. I'm glad that he got away from Mr. Silva and his hats.
Yeah.
And who knows, maybe WWE will buy TNA and then say, Eric Young, you book it or something. There's still a lot of rumors about the sale coming up still. So like I said, when they started cutting everybody, it's like, oh, they're selling, that's what iHeart did. They fire everybody. I don't think there's a live person on their FM stations, that in Rochester anymore, guaranteed human. Righto. Wow. So, by the way, Dave Selinsky, happy July 4th to you too. He's a good friend of ours who runs the Dome there. Thank you so much for listening. So some other news, we've got Mark Briscoe apparently is dealing with a major injury where he's going to be out for a while. It might explain why they took him out at the end of this. That was a great match, by the way, with him and MJF.
Yep.
To start Dynamite pretty much after the flashback footage from the end of the pay-per-view, and it was bloody as heck, and Mark Briscoe might be taking some time off. He says he has an injury. They're not saying what it is, but it might be something that'll take him out of action for a while. But he's another guy who's been very MVP-ish for this company in the past year because he gets over, because the fans love him. And it's like, you can't deny that. And it's like, give him these opportunities. A lot of people say, why are you letting this guy who's a tag team wrestler wrestle for the, who was historically a tag team wrestler, now wrestle for championships? It's because he's a solid wrestler, and the fans really, they love him, and they've loved him, and I hate to say it because his brother passed away, but he's gotten so much bigger since then, so, and his brother was an excellent wrestler,
The fans love him, and there's probably not many people in wrestling that are more loved backstage as well. So if the timing ever works out, with, not other priorities at that time, I could totally see him eventually having a quick AEW world title run at some point. Like I said, it's got to be a time when there aren't other big storylines, priorities, whatever, that, like, he'd be deserving of the title, but there's something else that's just a bigger story out there or whatever. But I could totally see something happening at some point for him to get that, which I never would have thought that, a couple of years ago or something. But he definitely is extremely popular.
Yeah, kudos to him. So, excuse me. So we're getting towards the end of the news, which is good. Despite widespread speculation about his future, Big Bill remains under contract with AEW at the time. That being said, he's already given his notice to the company and is expected to make the jump to WWE once his AEW deal is officially expired, barring any significant last-minute developments. And apparently, he's going to be coming back with Enzo, and they feel it's a good time to maybe do a revisit of their tag team. And I don't know. We'll see. I don't know. I mean, there was people play sing along when they were doing it, but they also at time, I believe Carmelo was their manager, at least in NXT. And but
yeah,
we'll see what happens. I mean, Enzo, you always think someone does something, they're never going to get rehired. And Enzo showing up at a pay-per-view after he got fired, sitting in like the 6th row and being removed by security, might have been something that would be like, make you never be able to come back. But if he shows up again in a month with Big Bill, or Cass or whatever he's going to go by, don't be surprised. So kudos to him. And he's still under contract though to AEW until it's up, and it's probably up very soon. Julia Hart has opened up about a personal health battle she's had recently. She's diagnosed with avoidant restrictive food intake disorder. She's been talking about it on social media and things like that, noting that she doesn't often see people discussing it, and asked if anyone else had similar experiences. She added that therapy has helped her better understand the trigger associations with the conditions, and it's ARFID, as it's called, is an eating and feeding disorder characterized by a significant restriction in the amount or variety of food a person consumes. Unlike disorders that stem from body image or weight concerns, ARFID is typically driven by sensory sensitives, a lack of interest in eating, or fears relating to eating, such as choking or vomiting. So very interesting, because Julia Hart, I love her work. She doesn't get enough time on TV as it is, but she does have apparently an issue with, and that's someone from my size. I wish I shouldn't say I wish I had something like that. That'd be a terrible thing to say, but it's like, I wish that, I wish that she didn't have something like that, because it's like, I can't imagine how that disorder starts, but she is dealing with it. And like I said, she has therapy about it and everything. So, but she talked about it a bit this week. So I think that's, she, to get her name out there as well. It's like nice to see her. So one last thing, and then we'll get finished up. Raha Jackson. Remember that guy? Yeah. He's the son of Quentin Rampage Jackson, the one who beat up
oh, okay. I was going to say, no, I don't remember.
Yeah. He beat up an independent wrestler.
Yeah.
Psycho Stu, I believe the guy's name is. And well, he's going to be spending 90 days in Los Angeles County Jail and paying $81,000 in restitution to Smith and complete 2 years of probation because of what happened. And you might remember seeing the video of him coming off the front row and just, attacking this guy and beating him senseless, unfortunately. And it was real. Because, in wrestling, not a lot of real stuff does happen, but when it does happen, then it's like, well, obviously someone got arrested because it's assault, and it's like, but so I think that his dad's come out and even like kind of defended the guy that got beat up by him, and said that his son just like, didn't understand or whatever, it's like, but, when you hit someone a few times and they're not hitting back, you figure you should stop, even if it's wrestling, I don't know, but, but he did have to was under trial, and he 90 days in jail because of this. And, and the guy who he beat up actually came out and defended him, saying he holds no ill will against him. It's like, I guess that's the smartest thing to say, because, I don't know. I'm glad it's over. I mean, hopefully we'll never see Raha Jackson's name again, at least involved with professional wrestling. Now, Quentin Rampage Jackson was a great dude. I was a big fan of his, and he was still kind of crazy a little bit too. So I know that's about all the news I got. Anything I'm missing, Rob? We got some shows coming up soon.
Yeah, if I don't know. Like I know this weekend I will be watching GCW's got like a ballpark brawl show, similar show, the Bash at the Ballpark at 6 o'clock today from Coney Island. Um and with the pretty loaded card. Um and then tomorrow is their annual backyard wrestling show, which is always a lot of fun to watch because the wrestlers break out their old gimmicks from their backyard days and just have a lot of fun outdoors with pools and uh, all sorts of outdoor party vibe shenanigans. So ESW is back on the 31st, outdoors at Riverworks. Just announced Mance Warner versus Channing Decker, Butcher and Blade against Miracle Generation, which is going to be awesome. The Everything to Gain Rumble. And more. And it's been a lot of gearing up for these two CW shows. I think at this point we are not using the reunion word anymore. This is
Three shows. That's more than a reunion,
that's
you know.
yeah, no, I think we're past the reunion point. This is kind of a fresh thing, a three-show tour at probably the three most well-known 2CW venues coming up with the Arena in Watertown, the Madhouse in Binghamton, and then the Pastime in Syracuse. So I know there are announcements that will be coming. I believe at least one more match announcement for Watertown coming today, which uh, I will say like this is a show that I have had quite a bit of work on the booking side of things, and therefore I'm very partial to it and really looking forward to the card as it's coming together. There's a lot of fun stuff planned though for some stuff we probably will announce this week for Binghamton, including a couple of legendary names, and the pastime is going to be special in November for sure. There's a lot that'll be happening there. So 2cwlive.com has the links to everything. But yeah, that's August, September, and November for those. And yeah, I mean, I can say I think it looks like November is probably going to be for a second year in a row, and ESW's biggest show of the year on a Friday, and then 2CW the next day, which was a crazy and awesome weekend last year. And I think it'll be even much bigger this year. So that'll be a lot of fun for wrestling fans in this area that weekend in November. But outside of that, I don't know. I think that pretty much covers the upcoming shows. So
Are you happy with the Sabres draft?
we'll see. I don't know. It's I don't have a ton of familiarity with those guys. I kind of expected a little bit more, I guess, from I mean, obviously the Sabres were very busy in those days leading up to the draft, but not much happened once we got to draft days, and obviously like the only thing that's happened goaltender wise is losing Devin Levi for an upgraded draft pick in 2 years, which I don't really feel like that's a great return value. But
Did you see the rumors about him that saying that he's been wanting to leave the organization for a while? And
I did not see that.
I saw something
Uh,
about that. How he had been asking to get moved if they weren't going to use him in Buffalo.
well, I mean, good for him. I like because that's when they first acquired him. I mean, I immediately thought like, okay, this is going to be the next like long-term starter of the team once he gets to that spot. I am really surprised that his tenure with the organization is done and he never got to that point. So I mean, that's in all of this. Like, I'm happy for him because I think he can step into a role in Edmonton where I mean he could easily snag that spot. And yeah, I don't know. He had some struggles, but I still feel like I had more confidence in him than some others in net. And yeah, I don't know. It's just kind of surprising. It's like I said, it's disappointing that all you get back in that trade is in 2 years to move up from I think from a seventh rounder to a third rounder. Like that's a total return for Devin Levi. It's just crazy to me. But
Yeah.
so at that point it was like, okay, well they're gonna get, they'll go out and get a big name goalie, and I don't know if that's happening.
So I just got a message from Dave. He said the Buffalo Sabres signed goaltender Matt Villalta, or Villalta, sorry, to a 1-year, 2-way contract with $850K. So, but the name's not familiar to me. So,
Matt Vela, the guy from Utah. Yeah, I haven't seen that. That must have been like just now.
oh, I know that some stuff had happened. I mean, obviously when Levy went away. Okay, he played the last 3 years in Tucson. So,
Okay. Well, that could be yeah, that could be more of that could be your new starter for the Amerks. So yeah, I'm not super familiar with Villarta, but interesting. That's I mean, that yet again is not the names out there like
he said yes,
like
Utah. You were right. Yeah.
um like not a name out there like, Bobrovsky obviously going to Toronto.
Yeah.
And obviously Connor Hellebuck's name has been thrown out there so much that it's strange that he's not been dealt somewhere yet, after being in so many rumors. But I guess something could still happen there. But
Do they know who's going to be their announcer next year for the Amerks?
yes, I'm going to decline to comment on that.
Okay, so they do have a name then. They already got somebody.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure about that because I hadn't heard anything since the end of the season. So,
They announced it yesterday.
oh, they
So
did. Oh, sorry, I didn't even look at the news. So, oh man, wow, all out. So, well, on that note, why don't we get out of here? I want to thank you. A little hockey update there and everything, and guys, have a great weekend. It's a long weekend for some of you. It's the 250th birthday of this country. It's long in the tooth right now. We'll be back next week. Same bad time, same bad channel. We'll see you. And don't forget to check out all our old shows on thepainclinic.net as well as you can find our old shows on iTunes and a bunch of other places. I don't restrict anything. I make no money off of this. So if you want to send me a big wad of money, I'd be happy about that too. So we'll see you next week, folks. Same bat time, same bat channel.